Well, Void, how you doing? Now, it's late November at the time of this filming, so coincidentally, when my Shudder trek, I just bumped into a few horror Christmas films, so away I go, I guess. Getting into the season a little bit early. And the first one is actually one I have never seen before, but I know of it. It's definitely considered a horror Christmas classic, and that's Christmas Evil, also called Better Watch Out. Well, you better watch out. Now, I've already reviewed a film called either You Better Watch Out or Better Watch Out, so I'm putting this one under the more commonly used Christmas Evil title. Despite Shudder, it's listed as Christmas Evil, when you click on it, the title that pops up is You Better Watch Out. Okay, I digress. Whatever you watch it under, this is an interesting little film. It's not done like a typical horror film. It's all advertised and looking like it's going to be a Santa slasher film, and it's really not. It's more about a man's spiral downward before he snaps. Sort of like a Christmas version of the Joker. Or the movie Joker. Anyway. Essentially, the movie starts off with our main character, Harry, as a young boy, sneaking down to see Santa Claus. And he sees Santa, yay! But then he hears some more noise later, sneaks back out, and, well, sees Santa the mommy doing a little bit more than kissing Santa Claus. And it kind of snaps something in him. Because he is a diehard believer in Santa Claus. Well, goes about 40 years later. Well, 30 some anyway. And he's a man who's a set upon toy factory worker. He's newly promoted, but no one respects him. His home is all decked out in Christmas stuff because he's really into Christmas. Like, really into Christmas. This guy wakes up humming Christmas songs and sleeps in Santa pajamas, even back in November. You get the impression that his house is just like this. This is just how he is. And while he's a nice enough guy, he's definitely a little off. Particularly as he seems to actually be trying to emulate Santa Claus by spying on the neighbors and noting who is good and who is bad. Which, I don't know how well this played back in 1980, but when he's on the roof using binoculars to look into little kids' rooms, it definitely felt unsettling here. But in a way that worked for the movie. It's because they never portray what he's doing as good or innocent. It's clear he's just always a little off. So he's doing that. His brother's worried about him, particularly as this year he seems a bit more off. When, like, a few things just seem to be pushing him towards that final straw. Like, his coworker essentially forces him, who he technically outranks, forces him to come in and work his shift, despite him just going to the bar and drinking rather than actually sitting out early on the vacation he was supposed to. This little boy in the neighborhood is so obsessed with dirty magazines that it just sets in him wrong that he wants to do something about it. And the owners of the toy factory, just despite doing some charity things, seem particularly callous about children. So everything is just driving this man towards the edge. And eventually he creates a Santa suit and starts going around. He essentially breaks into his own factory, takes a bunch of toys, and brings them to a hospital full of children with mental handicaps. So he does some good, but then he also takes some more violent-looking toys and uses them to murder some of the executives of his company in cold blood. Before going and hanging out at a Christmas party for a while, then sneaks into the house of his coworker and leaves some toys for the kids, but then goes on and tries to smother his coworker before finally slitting his throat. It's definitely an out there movie, and then a mob essentially starts chasing Santa around. Seeing this man's downward spiral, you do feel bad for the guy because, well, his heart is in their right's place. It is kind of in there backwards. He's so sure he's figured out what he needs to do, which is become Santa, that when things are going wrong, it just, you can see the guy's getting destroyed emotionally. It's very well acted. The guy who plays Santa I was not familiar with, or his name's Harry in the movie, is Brandon Maggart, and he's really pulling this off. I mean, the movie doesn't have too much in terms of twists and turns, and there's only a few actual scenes of violence, but when they are there, they do work. I mean, the director pulls a Fulci on us. If you know, you know. Anyway, there's only a few scenes of violence, and my only complaint is he did seem to be leaving a few gifts for, like, something for one of the bad kids. Maybe I missed it, but I would have liked to have seen what that was. But, yeah, the guy comes off as really creepy, though, in a way that, like, how have you gotten away with this for this long? I mean, it was a different time in the 80s, sure, but, like, for his neighbor girl, he's got a picture of her on his, like, desk that he's, like, viewing as his little darling. It's like, seems a little much, guy. Anyway, overall, Christmas Evil did work, and I can see why it is a Christmas horror classic. It's very well done. It's definitely not your typical horror film, and it's definitely more of a character-driven, emotional piece. So for me, I can give Christmas Evil 6 MacGuffin. It was pretty good. I wouldn't mind owning or kicking this one up again. I've got another Christmas one coming up probably next weekend. Another one I hadn't seen, but this one seems a little bit more I can't even remember what it was. I think it's more of a recent Shudder exclusive, so we'll see. I mean, I've heard Advent Calendar is good, but I'm nowhere near that. This one I think is Christmas Presents. With a title like that, I'm a little concerned. But who knows? I probably have seen worse. Alright, well, that's all for me for right now. See you later, Void.